Guys, Gary Gensler was speaking in front of the House Appropriations Committee last night. And in this video, I'll be covering exactly what happened, exactly what he said. But the long story short is this man does not know when to give up. I've told you many times that XRP is in the clear and that crypto is not clear in terms of a regulatory path. Yet every single time and time again, this man goes to these people and tries to explain just how clear everything is. And matter of fact, guys, this is where the ball motherfucking breaks. He's even saying he needs more money to go after crypto. Guys, when asked some difficult questions about FTX, etc., you're gonna laugh at exactly what he responds. This is, oh my, it can break your brain. So if you cringe quickly, if you're having a difficulty with watching these videos where some people just make an absolute fool of themselves, and like John Dean says, where he tested lies, then maybe not watch it. But otherwise, guys, make sure you press that like button on this video because, it's pretty awesome if you do that. You'll forever go into my little basket of people who I hold dear to my heart. Make sure you press the like button and let's dive right in.
Chairman, welcome. It's always good to see you, Senator. I enjoy our times in our private talks and in these hearing rooms.
The feeling is mutual. Mr. Chairman, why did you and the SEC allow the FTX fraud to happen?
The crypto field is often one that is commingling and bundling services, as I said earlier, and often also offshore. And it is rife with abuses and fraud. It also takes time to thoughtfully and by the book and by the law build investigations and bring actions. There's a public figure, on average, about 23 months from start to either settlement or bringing an action at the SEC. We did bring actions over the course of the last 5 years on 150 companies or
But the
tokens.
cow was out the barn. I mean, I follow your remarks, Mr. Chairman, because I have great respect for you. And you've said repeatedly before FTX blew up that the SEC has the authority to regulate cryptocurrency. Now, here you have this company, FTX, run by a young man who has more zeal than wisdom. He prides himself looking like the fourth runner-up in a John Belushi lookalike contest. He prides himself on being underdressed and overhaired, reeks with arrogance. You could have sent down one investigator from the FTC with an ego like Mr. Bankman-Fried and said, I want to send someone down from the SEC and let them just watch you for a day. And he probably would have welcomed you in. I mean, his dad is a chaired professor at Stanford Law School. Where was Stanford? But where was the SEC? I mean, this was an accident waiting to happen. And I don't understand where the SEC was.
So, sir, I would say that the whole field has hurt more Americans than it should.
Yeah, but I'm talking about FTX. I mean, we look back at FTX. I mean, Senator Durbin made this point. And we have this elaborate, complex regulatory machinery, the SEC, which I support, which is supposed to guarantee transparency and combat fraud. And any fair-minded person has to look at FTX and Mr. Bankman-Fried and these kids and go, what in God's, where was everybody? Where was the SEC?
And I would say where we were is my predecessor and also under my honor to be chair, we've brought 140 or 150 actions. There are 15 to 20,000 tokens, and there are dozens of
Yeah, but it
platforms.
was after the fact,
And-
Gary. I mean, here's this young man. He did everything but buy Mount Rushmore. Weren't y'all curious? Where's this guy getting this money?
I would say that in the summer of 2021, when we Wells noticed a very large crypto exchange in the U.S., they went on Twitter and said that we were sketchy. When we subpoenaed Do Kwon, this is all public, so I can say it. When we gave him a subpoena, he fought us in the district court. He fought us in the appellate court.
But I'm not talking about how many lawyers can dance on the head of a pin. I'm talking.
Had to stop it there just for a second, just to kind of get things on the grid again. You guys probably know, but a couple things he's saying here are just very odd. One of which is whenever he's asking, hey, so why didn't you send a guy over to FTX? Why didn't you let a guy sit there and discuss everything? He's now basically naming excuses to things that they have done where, again, that's not the question. But also, you guys know as well as I do that every single time, whenever he's asked a question about crypto, he pops up and says, well, we've done X amount of cases on crypto. And a fun fact, listen to me here. He always used to say, we have yet to lose a single one, but he can't say that anymore. And that really puts a smile on my face. He used to always, in every one of these interviews, say, we have brought 200 crypto cases and have yet to lose a single one. But now because of the Ripple case, he can't say that anymore, and it's probably hurting him bad. And I also think it's hurting his defense a little bit, because right now he could have said, well, you see, we're actually fighting everywhere in crypto. We never lose. But they can't anymore, and that's so nice. In the wake of never losing, though, guys, make sure you check out BitGet. There's actually pretty cool incentive for you guys to get to learn how to trade and everything, because you've got a spinning wheel. Basically, the more actions that you take, the more spins you get, where you can win some very cool things. It's an exchange I use. You can always use a VPN for this one. And this one is Bybit. This one does need KYC, so you cannot simply use a VPN, but you can get yourself an 1,125 USDT XRP trade open for completely free. That's the airdrop given to you. It's leveraged, so obviously the amount of money that you get is a little bit less, but it's basically acting as $1,125 worth of a trade. And I put a lot of money on the side here, specifically for you guys to do this with. You can see 100% is still left, because I'm guessing not that many people know exactly how to claim it, but it's actually completely free. So just check it out with the link down below, because it's actually very simple just to open a trade with your free money. Just check it out here exactly how it works.
Why didn't you send somebody down? I guarantee you, with his ego, Mr. Bankman-Fried would have welcomed you. Okay, he probably would have asked you to bring a film crew. You just send an investigator down, spend a half a day with these young people, come back, and go get an injunction. Shut them down until they can answer some very basic, fundamental questions. Like, for example, were they commingling funds? Why didn't we do that? Why didn't you do that? That's what we pay you folks to do.
Well, again,
I get all the Wells letter and all that. We've got tens of thousands of people that lost a lot of money, and they look at this young man and they go, how did the regulatory authorities allow this guy to function? I mean, his Secret Service name is Butthead. That's how bad he is. Where was the SEC?
And again, sir, I can't speak to one enforcement matter like that, but let me just broadly say
it's a big one.
This whole field, the whole crypto field, is built on models that we wouldn't allow in traditional securities markets of commingling. The commingling that you're mentioning.
Why did you allow FTX?
And
Why did you allow FTX?
We investigate by the book. You, I'm sure, and the American public want us to follow the facts, follow the law, properly give people subpoenas. They get lawyered up. They give us replies. They do effectively burn clock, and on average,
you could have gotten an injunction, half a day. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And that was an interesting smile if I've ever seen one at the end. Yeah, his apparently Sam Bankman-Fried's Secret Service name was Butthead. That was interesting. Yeah, but there's one more video I have to showcase to you guys here real quick. Also, of course, from Mr. Gary Gensler, sorry. And guys, make sure that you press that like button if you haven't done it yet.
Technology is also rapidly transforming our markets and business models, whether it's electronic trading, the cloud, artificial intelligence, of course, predictive data analytics. And the chair also mentioned things about what I would call, not your words, the wild west of the crypto markets, rife with non-compliance where investors have put hard-earned assets at risk in a highly speculative asset class. Such growth and rapid change also means more possibility for wrongdoing. As the cop on the beat, we must be able to meet the match of bad actors. Thus, it takes time, and it makes sense for the SEC to grow along with the expansion. Again, we're just about the size we were 7 years ago.
To which I have so much to say, but again, guys, we've been sitting here for an hour. So I'm going to get you guys the facts like, So let me show you another video of Gary Gensler, and pay close attention. Guys, please pay close attention to what happens when he starts talking about the security laws and how things are changing. You know, the man is, just see, you're going to laugh at it. Just notice for yourself. It's more fun if I don't tell you.
And generally speaking, there's some group of entrepreneurs behind those projects. And what we have in America is laws that are clear, that are on the books, that if you're raising money from the public and the public is anticipating profits based upon the efforts of others, that comes under the securities laws. This is something that was written in the 1930s, but as recently as Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall wrote an opinion about 40 years ago that Congress painted with a broad brush to protect the investing public. And so at the core, that's a question. How many of these 15 to 20,000 tokens have attributes that they're investment contracts under the law? Investment contracts are part of the securities law. And
yeah, so it's kind of funny that he had to switch up a little bit for a second because, again, they lost the Ripple case, et cetera, et cetera. But it goes on for a bit. There's two things that are major takeaways. I'm not sure if I have videos for those because the amount of videos I've got is so outrageous. The only problem is I don't want to let you guys listen to something that you don't need to listen to. And the problem is also a lot of these have some overlap, so it's a little bit annoying. But what was said here, again, that's important enough to know. The SEC apparently failed to repay $414 million of its appropriations back to the Treasury last year. The responses to my questions from SEC division directors at today's Financial Committee hearing suggest they have no plan to correct this or make sure it doesn't happen again, which is unacceptable, so the SEC is not paying back. So apparently, whatever the SEC took here, covered by Treasury tax dollars, could apparently pay for the CFTC's entire budget for the next year. Gensler is asking Congress for a whopping $2.4 billion, justifying it with a fee collection that is supposed to offset the appropriated amount. $2.4 billion. What? Maybe he just saw it as this whole crypto stuff as a money laundering machine. I don't know. But talking about money that he wants to grab, Gensler wants a fresh $110 million as well to help the SEC reign in the Wild West of crypto. Which again, the Wild West of crypto were not officially his words, he said, but he did say it in the past, I believe, as well, right? But another $110 million. I thought they already got a lot of money last year to go after crypto. Where are they spending all this money from? And what exactly can they get done if they, for example, couldn't go after FTX? Well, what? I mean, on one side, we're having all these guys say, hey, even Dusty, hey, my brother. That's my brother Dusty right there. I support this man with my whole heart. Representative Dusty Johnson says the SEC cannot continue to regulate by enforcement. The lawsuits filed against digital asset firms are not protecting the public and are stifling innovation and growth. My letter to the SEC chair. To continue on that path, there's also French Hill. I sent a letter alongside Dusty to Gary Gensler, stressing the importance of productive engagement with the SEC on our actions in Congress to regulate digital assets and establish clear rules of the road for all market participants. But then again, I just want to make it clear, he is asking for more money to go after crypto, while on almost every other side, they're saying, don't do it the way you're doing it. You know, you don't need more money, you just need to change up your strategy. And apparently, he's also, yet again, calling crypto fraud, scams, and abuse. I think right now, all because of the Ripple case, like the whole battle for regulation has become 10 times as strong. But I think it's now becoming more and more apparent that the SEC is not the right entity to get it done. To which all I can say is, fire Gary Gensler and start again. But probably they'll put another puppet in place and it won't change anything. But maybe, just maybe, it could be a start. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this little update with all the news, make sure you put that notification bell on for in case something even crazier happens tomorrow, you want to be notified. What if all of a sudden the SEC decides to sue another company? You want to be notified. Or what if in some miraculous way, Ripple all of a sudden does something absolutely crazy, or Binance does something crazy? You want to be notified. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video, hopefully later today. Probably in like 3 hours or so. So see you guys again in another one.